Hi there Virgo, thank you for joining me for your year 2013 forecast. There's a lot that goes on in a year, a huge phenomenal amount, especially planetary wise, and I want to provide a structural oversight which gives you a clear but fairly straightforward idea of what the key issues are going to be. But I do feel that the events of last November, when we had a solar and lunar eclipse which worked together in pairs, are very important to what's going to be happening for you. Communication, without doubt, is going to be a huge factor for you all through 2013. And communication comes under the astral microscope even more because Saturn, the planet of structure, is now in this sector too. How you speak, the thoughts you have, the ideas that you've based your life upon could be challenged this year at times. You may not find that everybody automatically falls in with what you think. Because you can be a very crisp thinker because of the alliance between Mercury, your ruler, and Earth as the element which influences Virgo, you can see things often very quickly and almost with a forensic clarity. But sometimes the downside of that is that you don't always see the big picture. And you could find that people will challenge you if they feel that you're being a bit cut-in, a bit too clinical in your approach. You need to contain the thought in your mind all the time that your humanity is under the microscope as much as what you're saying, and how important it is for other people to listen to your ideas, which clearly is going to be important to you. Now, what happened on the back of those two influences in November is that there may be somebody close to you, a sibling, that's going to need your support, and this can last right through till May time. It may also be that you're going to be coming into communicational contact with influential people who may not readily accept your ideas. But your desire to be creative and to show flair and to show how talented you are is going to be enormous at the turn of the year. And the solar return sees the Sun close to Pluto for you, a very important transformational influence. And if you are someone who feels that you haven't really been showing people every ounce of your talent, your determination to change that this year is going to be fantastically strong. And January can be a very important month for you in this regard. You could also see an important romantic relationship enter your world, or a tie which is no longer important come to a close. But there's another influence which occurs at the start of this year, and this sees Mars in your sector of obligation and can help you work very hard, forging a link with Uranus in your sector of long-term finances, linking both with Jupiter, the planet of fortune, in your sector of work. Now, I think if you're open to having the courage to move outside your comfort zone, you could get some luck this year that comes about completely randomly. But even if you start to think, I know what that might be, something could still turn up to surprise you. Now, with Saturn forging a very positive link with Pluto for the first 3 months of this year, do roll your sleeves up and work hard on what you're trying to transform. It can come about, or at least you can influence it as much as is possible. It's also possible that events outside your control will influence your situation. Scary stuff, but it can happen to all of us. Unfortunately, from the middle of February, Saturn does start to go backwards, and it will do for 5.5 months. And this is when I do feel that the way you say things can come under much greater scrutiny. And this is when you need to become much more conscious that if you're someone who's quite evangelical about what you believe and you think you're right, you may encounter other people who challenge that and don't like it. They want you to be much more open that other people are entitled to a different viewpoint to yours, to learn to disagree. This can be something that goes on for the rest of this year. But if there are tensions with siblings or neighbours or people in your locality, they can be highlighted in that 5.5 months from the middle of February. But then there is a link between Uranus and Pluto, and this occurs from March through to the end of the year, and this is really, really tough. This influence has been affecting all of us. It's had a global impact. It's absolutely huge. And for you, it could see you having to battle with the desire to do something you feel is really worthwhile and to get recognition with it, with understanding that you need to pay the bills. and just being very idealistic about your ideas is not going to be enough. And when it comes to meshing together with someone else in a business situation, it could be a lot of politics. Now in May, there's another solar and lunar eclipse. Now this one for you is going to be very much to do with expansion. It's going to be to do with optimism. It's going to be to do with travel. But some of the things that you want to take up may rock the things that actually give you the foundations in your world. Some kind of compromise needs to be made, as is often the case. At the start of June, Jupiter, the planet of fortune, moves into a fantastic part of your scope. This is very happy-go-lucky, it's very sociable, and it can see you coming into contact with lots of bubbly people in the second half of the year. Good fortune can come from your friendships, so keep open-minded in that regard. Now there is, on the 18th of October, a lunar eclipse, which occurs in your sector of finances and long-term situations concerning your investments, property issues, pensions and so on. This clashes with the solar eclipse which occurs on the 3rd of November, which itself is side by side with Saturn. I think if you're signing any documentation or looking to go into some kind of scheme, you need to make sure that you get the right kind of advice. Don't necessarily believe what you're told is factual. Someone could use quite a lot of emotional pressure on you. There could be some tensions in the last couple of months of the year when it comes to the way you say things. Again, you need to get much more used to the fact that the critical side of your nature, which is quite strong in a lot of Virgo people, is something that other people may find rather difficult this year, and particularly in the last couple of months of 2013. I do, however, wish you well. Thank you for joining me, and good luck for now.